Hey y'all, I just did a whole little first section of a video while I broke up some cauliflower, telling you about a recipe I was going to do, and looked up and the video was gone, it was off. So I don't know if I did or it just lost signal or what. But I had a whole head of cauliflower, and here's the remains of it. And before I showed you the whole thing, but evidently it's gone. So, and I broke all the heads off here. And we're gonna do a recipe. It's called Company Cauliflower. It's by Nellie Goff from one of our old church cookbooks. And they're all handwritten recipes. I wouldn't take anything for this. Two of my friends are her daughters, and she's gone to be with the Lord. But I love this recipe. You can actually use other vegetables in it, and I'm going to share how to do this. Right now what we're going to do is add some water to this and boil it for about 10 to 15 minutes. But I just broke it up in little heads. If you can see this, it's so good. So we'll get started and I'll come back when it's boiled. Okay y'all, the cauliflower's done. You can see it's steaming. I got it draining in the pan. I got, let's see how much flour. I got 1/4 cup of flour out, 2 cups of milk, paprika, 1 teaspoon of salt, and I've got some cheese sliced. And this calls for fresh mushrooms, but I always keep cans, so I'm gonna use can. So, oops. I've got my casserole dishes ready, and I've got my butter in my fry pan. I'm fixing to make a roux, so we'll get started with that. Okay, we are melting the butter. I don't know, I think I've explained how to do a roux before. That's basically what this is. You're just making a white sauce, and I'm doing it with butter. Now this calls for, let me read, it calls for 1/4 cup of diced green pepper. Honestly, I've left that out before, but I do have pepper, so I'm gonna use that. I just don't have green, but color's fine. We'll add some color to it. So I'm gonna put that in my butter. And the reason I'm doing that is because I have these frozen. I have had them sitting out a few minutes, but they'll need to cook a little bit before I add the flour. So this is all we're doing. Y'all, you don't even want to see my kitchen. I had to be gone all morning, and then I had to go to physical therapy for my back, which is really turning out to be a blessing. They're really helping me. I'm not pain-free, but I'm getting there, I hope. I actually, me and a friend went shopping yesterday. Yes, I went shopping, can you believe that? But it was Costco. But we just happened to go into Cabela's for fun. So we were standing in Cabela's, and I told my friend Lynette, I said, I just had a spiritual experience in here. And she said, what? And I said, I was standing there on that concrete floor thinking, I'm not having any pain, none. And I just started thanking the Lord for it right there in the store, you know, to myself. And so as we was walking out, I shared that with her. And it means a lot when you've had pain and you don't have any more. I'm sure a lot of you know that. It means a lot to me. But when I go to therapy, I get real sore because they're doing the dry needle therapy on me, and today they added the electrical stimulation. But honestly, it's doing so much good, so I'm not complaining at all. I didn't mean to tell y'all my life story. I guess I just feel like I'm talking to somebody. So I'm going to read this as we go. She says to add the pepper and the mushroom. Now, I did not add the mushroom yet because I wanted to cook the peppers a little bit, and I think they're about done. So I'm going to drain these mushrooms in this can. she says, I think it's a half a pound of mushrooms. This is 8 ounces. I just improvise. So I've added the mushrooms. My video keeps going off. Hope it'll continue. So I'm just added the mushrooms. And I'm gonna let that simmer for just a few minutes. Okay, y'all. Y'all don't know it, but I've had so many interruptions. Okay, we're back. I've melted the butter, I've added the pepper, and like I say, you can leave that off, you can leave the mushrooms off, and now we're going to add, let's just read what she says. Add in the flour gradually. So this is how you make a roux, if you do not know. It's just like making gravy. Of course, you wouldn't have the mushrooms and stuff in there. And you just want to stir it till it gets thick and everything gets wet. If you need more butter, add more butter. It's hard to tell when this gets thick because you've got all these peppers and mushrooms and stuff in here. But I think it basically is getting thick. So let's just see what she says now. She says to stir in the milk and cook until it's thick. So I can tell it's already thickening up. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the 2 cups of milk. Remember, basically this is a roux, just like gravy. Now I'm gonna turn my eye up just a little bit. Now, if by chance this didn't get thick like gravy, you could add a little cornstarch, or you could add some, put some flour in a cup with cold water and stir it up, whisk it up where there's no lumps, and you could do that. What I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to get a thick gravy, a white sauce. So I just stir till it gets thick, like a gravy. But it's actually a roux or a white sauce is what you call it. So I'll come back when this is a little bit thicker. Okay, y'all, I wanted you to see how it's getting thicker. You can see it bubbling on the sides. You can see that it's like a gravy consistency. I'm actually gonna turn my eye off because I'm using an iron skillet and I have gas heat, so it continues to cook after you turn it off. But can you see the white sauce is thick? Can you see that? It's thicker. It's just like a gravy. Now, if you have gas and you turn your eye off and it doesn't get as thick as you think it should be, then just turn your eye back on and cook it a little bit more. But this is exactly how I think I want it. Just a little like a gravy consistency. And like I say, the more it sits in this iron skillet, the more it's gonna cook. You don't want it to like get bready with the flour and the milk. You don't want that, because this is a casserole. Okay, I'm gonna add my salt. I think it's 1 teaspoon of salt, and I'm just gonna eyeball it. You can see it's getting thicker and thicker. It's almost like a pudding. That's if I could describe it. All right, I'm gonna start putting together the casserole. Okay, now we're back over at the island. Here's my cauliflower, and here's how we're gonna put it together. We're gonna put half of my cauliflower in this casserole dish. I wish I had a clear casserole dish, but I don't. So it looks just like that, just a layer of that. Then we're gonna do a layer of, let's see, let's do the cheese next. And it really doesn't matter. Y'all, I slice my own cheese. This, I buy my cheese in bulk. I buy a 4-pound package. So it don't really have to be sliced. She actually says pimento cheese, but there's no slices of pimento cheese that I know of, although that would probably be good. Now, I'm gonna spoon this. I'm gonna get a bigger spoon. All right, you can see I've got the cheese on it. Now I'm just gonna spoon half of this sauce over this mixture and the cauliflower. When we first bought the farm and we didn't even have electricity, I cooked this over my wood stove, and all the kids were over here gathered around the stove, and it was really fun. Everybody was starving, and so that's how that looks. Then we're gonna go with the rest of the cauliflower, and I'm just gonna pour that in. And we're gonna let's do the sauce next. It really doesn't matter, but let me get a hot pad, and I'm just gonna pour the rest of the sauce. But can you see how thick that is? And it's not too thick, it's not bready. Goodness, it's good. This is probably my favorite way to eat cauliflower. But like I say, you can actually use broccoli. You can use anything. All right, I'm gonna take the rest of this cheese. You know what? It said to add some paprika. I think that's just for color. And then I'm gonna finish off with this cheese. And we are gonna bake this at 350 for about 15 minutes. And in the meantime, I'm gonna deep fry some chicken tenders to go with this. So I'll show you this when it's done, but that's how it looks. Now you can use shredded cheese too. I just buy my cheese and I didn't have any shredded, so I just buy it in bulk and I just sliced it, chunked it up. So it doesn't really matter, you know, how you do it, but shredded cheese would work fine too. I'll bring you back when it's out of the oven. So here's the final thing. I've deep fried some chicken tenders, and I'm serving them with barbecue sauce. And all I did with that is soak them in buttermilk for about 3 hours in the refrigerator, and then I roll them in flour and cayenne pepper and garlic salt and onion salt, and then I deep fry them, and that's all. And then I made some slaw, and I took my hamburger buns. Remember my hamburger buns I made the other day? Do it like that and you'll remember them. I took them and I made some Texas toast. So I got them in the freezer. So that's our meal today. Hope you enjoyed the casserole.